Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reading the rules book, which was written by Fein and Sherrie Schneider. And today I'm going to be reading rule number 4. The way I do this, I read a little bit of the chapter and comment in between. Rule number 4. Don't meet him halfway or go Dutch on a date. Men love a challenge. That's why they play sports, fight wars, and raid corporations. The worst thing you can do is to make it easy for them. When a man is trying to set up a date to meet you, don't say, "Actually, I'm going to be in your area anyway." Don't offer the names of the restaurants between your place and his unless he asks. Don't say much at all. Let him do all the thinking, the talking. Let him flip through the yellow pages or magazine listings and call a couple of friends for suggestions to come up with a place convenient for you. Men really feel good when they work hard to see you. Don't take that away from them. The rule is that men are supposed to rearrange their schedules around you, pursue you, take cabs and trains to see you. This one is also hard to implement for girls who are used to or were used to make it easy for guys to date them. I used to do it too. Like when I was a teenie or I was dating in my early 20s, I had no concept of playing hard to get or like actually being hard to get. I mean, the rules are not about like playing it. The rules are teaching you to become that specific rules girl. You're not playing it in the end. You are this girl that is hard to get. When a man is trying to set up a date to meet you, don't say, "Actually, I'm going to be in your area anyway." You have to like be a little bit hard to get. It's not about being impossible to get. If he's trying to set up a date with you, you don't have to say no if you don't want to. Like if you entirely don't want to date him, it's on you. Like just tell him like you're not interested. But if you're interested and if he's asking you out, the only thing you're not supposed to be doing is helping him to set up the entire date. And boy, women do that all the time. They think, what's the deal? Like I can tell him a couple places around where I live or like around where he is so we can meet in the middle. Like I know anyway in the city there's this great spot, this sushi spot. Let's go there. And it's just like right conveniently between you and him or like in his area because you want to go there anyway. You're lying to yourself. Don't make it easy for him like to date you. Men don't appreciate this in the end. That's the problem with this. If it's a first date, you've never met him before or you don't know him enough to let him pick you up, he has to come into your area and set up a date somewhere which is convenient for you where you live or you might be working in that area. That's either way, it's fine. But don't be traveling to a guy's area or where he works to make it easy for him just because he's a finance guy and works on Wall Street and you're a Brooklyn girl and you have to travel like for at least 45 minutes to get to Manhattan. Just because he's cool and works in a cool area, you should not be making it easy for him and go to Manhattan just because he works in the financial district. If he's not up for making a drive, taking a cab or whatever, train to Brooklyn, in that case, skip that. Like, don't waste your time on that guy anyway. Don't say much at all. Let him do all the thinking, the talking. Let him flip through the yellow pages or magazine listings. Exactly. It's not that women are not capable of like making a suggestion for a guy to plan a date. It's about the fact that we, us women, need to know whether he is interested enough in us to make actually a real plan for a date. We're not hanging around with guys. We're not chilling at their places. We're looking for a guy who's actually going to put in the effort into courtship. So we need to see you making that effort. And if he's not doing that, we pass on him. We next the guy. Like this is probably not the guy who's going to end up being our husband or boyfriend. Basically what it means, if he's not making plans himself without your help or suggestions, or he's not capable of doing that, it doesn't matter. Either way, if he's not capable or doesn't want to, he's not going to make a great boyfriend anyway. Also, the last sentence was here. Men really feel good when they work hard to see you. Men who like you feel good if they work hard to see you. Men who don't like you enough, men who are not interested at all, men who want to use and abuse you, they will get angry at you. Like, for real, for real. They'll get angry at you if you make it hard for them to date you. If he gets angry at you for not making it easy for him, that's a red flag. And I mean it. Like, it can be as slight as annoyance from him. If he's slightly annoyed by you for not like making it easy for him, like, you can immediately discard the guy. The rule is that men are supposed to rearrange their schedules around you, pursue you, take cabs and trains to see you. For example, on their second date, Charles drove 40 miles out of his way to see Darlene because she was spending the weekend at her mother's. Most girls would have left their moms in the lurch so that their date wouldn't have to be inconvenienced. But Darlene was schooled by the rules and knew the right thing to do. The more the guy puts in the effort, and I mean not only financial thing, I mean like planning things, being consistent, it's all the effort that we're looking for in a guy, at least majority of women. It's not necessarily, oh, he spent like 10 grand on a watch to buy for her because he's a millionaire. It's really not just financial thing. It's specifically the effort that he puts into the courtship. And driving to a girl is essential in a relationship. When you're playing a little bit hard to get, you are a little bit hard to get. You're a rules girl. You do the rules on a guy. The guy who is initially interested, he will end up not losing his initial interest. The rules are not for the girls to make a guy like them. That's not how they work. The rules are there to keep a guy's interest as long as possible. Continuing, friends and colleagues meet halfway. Men. Real men pick up women at their apartments or offices for dates. Always make the place convenient for you. We don't care where you live. When I read this first time, I thought I can cheat around this rule. So back when I read this the first time, I lived in Brooklyn, but I worked in Manhattan, and my gym was also in Manhattan. Everything else, my friends lived there, but I lived like out in Brooklyn. And I remember I was cheating around this particular rule by accepting dates which were in Manhattan, just because my gym was there or my work was there. But all of these guys who end up having date with me in Manhattan, majority of them never made it to Brooklyn. So as soon as I said, well, today I cannot go out to Manhattan because I'm in Brooklyn, and he would not make a drive. This is how I had to discard a lot of guys and wasted a lot of my time on first dates with men who would have never made it out to Brooklyn. Invariably, we find that men who insist that their dates meet them halfway, or worse, in their own turf, turn out to be turds, inconsiderate, uncompromising, and even miserly. Jane recalls that after cabbing from Greenwich Village to Brooklyn Heights to meet Steve, a blind date, at his favorite brunch place, he suggested they split the check. Jane, a truly nice person, agreed that it was only fair to pay her share. After all, she made a considerable amount of money as a lawyer and felt it would be unfair for Steve to absorb the entire cost of the date. Why should he have to pick up the whole tab? That was very nice of Jane, but we assure you that had she insisted that they meet at the place near her, perhaps just for a drink, especially if she didn't feel right spending his money, Steve would have treated her like a princess, not a co-worker. But since Jane made everything so easy for him, he didn't treat her well, lost interest, and eventually stopped calling. Before knowing the rules, I think I also paid sometimes on dates, but not because men suggested it. It was because I felt like, oh, I should be doing this to show them that I'm so independent. When a guy suggests on a date to split the check, for like what? You just ordered a chicken and a salad and a drink maybe. Like, what's the problem? Like, he clearly doesn't like you. Like, he's clearly not trying to impress you. He's not trying to court you. Like, why would you even consider dating him? Like, that's so disgusting. Like, the attraction is completely gone the moment I have to take out my wallet and pay for myself. Like, I could do this with like coworkers, no problem, no big deal. Obviously, if I'm out with the girls, no one's paying for me, that's fine. But like, if I'm on a date with a man who asked me out, because I never ask out boys, like, I don't do that. I never done this. Have I? No, I don't think so. I never like went up to a guy and was like, I think you're attractive. Would you like to date me? Let's go on a date. I've never experienced a guy asking me to pay, but I've heard stories where girls went out on dates and so the guy asked her to go back to his place. That's what she told me. And after she refused, and she said like, what, it's our first date? Like, what, why? Like, I don't think I'm comfortable doing that. Excuse me, like, I don't know you. He was upset and he suggested to split the check. So she told me that story and I'm thinking, and she even added to this, like, is this the only thing that I can offer this guy? Like, that's so miserable. Like, she felt awful after this. And this is not really the only story that I've heard. But since I've been, honestly, I would not make it convenient ever for a guy, especially if I don't know him well enough. Like, it's my way or highway in this case. Like, there's no other way. Like, he either will come to my area or he's not gonna meet me ever. Like, I don't care who he is. I have rejected very handsome and wealthy guys for dates who would not have traveled to the area where it was convenient for me. What I heard usually was like, hey, I'm just gonna pay you for a ticket, and then I'm gonna fly you out to London, and you're gonna spend a weekend like either at my place or I'm gonna, rent you a room at a hotel or something like that. Like, I don't care. Like, do I want to go to London? Yeah, sure. But like, for me to spend the entire weekend with you, a guy who's clearly not going to end up being my boyfriend or anything in my future, that was just a non-negotiable. Even if he offers you to fly out in private jet and rent you a beautiful room in a 5-star hotel, like, do not do that. Because he can cancel his booking. He can, he can have access to the hotel room. Don't ever do that. It's not that women aren't capable of taking subways and paying for themselves. It's just chivalrous, hence the rules for men to pick up their dates and pick up the checks. Equality and Dutch Street are fine in the workplace, but not in the romantic playfield. Love is easy when the man pursues the woman and pays for the woman, most of the time. He feels that the money he spends on the food, the movie, and the cabs is the price of being with you. It's worth every penny. You should feel honored, happy, not guilty. I did feel guilty a lot. I thought like why would this like random person, he's not related to me, he's not my father, brother, whatever, spend like so much money on like dating me. And I felt like, oh, maybe I should just contribute something. But that's the wrong thinking. Like, men feel, if he likes you, he feels freaking amazing being in the same room with you. That's his pleasure. Like, he doesn't mind spending the money that he spends on you. If they like you, they feel like the money they spend on you, it's like an investment. It's their entertainment too. Also, the sentence, he feels that the money he spends on food, the movie, and the cabs is the price of being with you, and it's worth every penny. If part of you feels uncomfortable about him paying for everything, offer to leave the tip, or if the night is a long one, say dinner, a show, 3 cab rides, or parking, pay for something small along the way, but don't pay for anything on the first 3 dates. Later on, you can reciprocate in your own way, cook him dinner at your place, or buy him a baseball cap. If he's on a tight budget or a student and you're worried about him spending tuition money, still don't split the check. Instead, suggest inexpensive places to eat and have a hamburger. Don't order appetizers or more than one drink. There's always pizza or Chinese food. such as movies, museums, and cheap outdoor concerts, not Broadway plays. You see, the rules are clear about not over-focusing on the financial thing. It's not about the amount of money he is capable of spending on you. It's about the effort. Everyone is in a different place and position in their life. Also, the chapter says, but don't pay for anything on the first 3 dates. No. I would even say, don't pay for anything until engagement. There is no need to. I mean, you're looking for a long-term thing. Somebody who is eventually going to become a lifelong partner eventually. Like for a family leader, for a husband, for eventually a father of your children. Like if he cannot afford to date you in the beginning, in the first couple, I don't know, half a year, then he is not ready to become anything yet. So let him loose. Also, it says later on you can reciprocate in your own way, cook him dinner at your place and buy him a baseball cap. Yes, but like much later on. Like once you're like dating for like a bunch of months, then you can do this. Also, I would not necessarily cook for him. I've done that mistakes too. I cook for my ex-boyfriend. Like I don't do that anymore. No. Like I can do the maximum of fixing up a sandwich for him if it's really necessary. But that's pretty much it is. I can cook, but I will not cook for a boyfriend. That's not gonna happen. Also, it says if he's on a tight budget or a student, you're worried about him spending tuition money. Even if it's like that, let him still plan the date and spend the money as much as he can and be appreciative and don't nag him about it. A date doesn't have to be expensive. It has to be romantic. That's a requirement for the rules. It's nice of you to care about his finances, but remember that he is deriving great pleasure from taking you out. Why deprive him of the joy of feeling chivalrous? Actually, the best way you can repay him is by being appreciative. Say thank you and please. Don't criticize the place or the food or the service, even if they are plain awful. Be positive. Look for the good in everything. We know one man who became even more enamored of a girl on a second date because she didn't complain one word when he couldn't remember where he parked at the football game. For the whole hour during which they pounded the pavement looking for his card, he kept thinking, what a great girl. Many things can go wrong on a date, especially when a guy is so eager to impress you that he ends up making more mistakes, locking his keys in a car, forgetting the theater tickets, and so on. Never use these blunders to make him feel bad. Instead, see all the effort and expense he's putting into the date. Being a good sport could make the difference between being just another date and his future wife. I think women like to complain a lot. So this is a great reminder for the girls who are actually still dating. Do not be a complainer. I know it's sometimes hard. I sometimes also want to complain, but because he's not doing the way I want it. However, I need to remind myself that nobody's perfect. It depends though. Like if it's like a planned date and something goes wrong, that's fine. If he poorly planned the date though, that's another whole issue. If that's on him, then it's on him. Like I would just observe that trait and make my own conclusions based on that. But if it's just an accident, that's fine. Being spontaneous and being a good planner, it can work. Yeah, poor planning skills are a turn-off. So what do you guys think about this chapter? I like this one. I like every single chapter in the book, honestly. And some are just a little harder to implement. Some are easier to implement. Honestly, you cannot cheat around this chapter. You cannot cheat around this rule. And but in the end of the day, you need to. It's a big eye opener when the guy does not travel to you. He is not going to become anything in your life. That's what this rule teaches us. And also going Dutch on a date is just the biggest turn off. Like if you're dating and it's supposed to be romantic, and if he's not trying to romanticize, he's not trying to court you, like then cut your losses. Next pass is coming. All right, what do you guys think about this? If you agree or disagree, let me know. Let me know down in the comments, and also let me know what rule you would like to read next, and whether you like the rules in general.